Hello flight simmers, welcome to this tutorial. Following on from our previous tutorial where I showed you how to download a certain flight plan, how to download the base models and all that stuff, we are covering the next thing or the next process of how to download the respective repaints or the respective liveries for a particular aircraft, say Lufthansa in this case. In our previous tutorial we took Lufthansa as our example flight or the example flight plan. We are going to follow that. So as I was saying, or as I was explaining, these are the aircraft list that you have, that Lufthansa has in their repository. You need to download ones which are in red. Now in my case here, some of them you will find are in gray or the dark gray shade. This is because I have been using Lufthansa's 2016 flight plan and I have these liveries already installed in my simulator. That's why they are in this color. Some of them I do not have, so these are in red. All you need to do is double click on the one which are in red. Start from the top. I'm not going to show you all the liveries installation because it's a huge list. Lufthansa has a huge list of aircrafts there. I'm going to show you a couple of them or maybe just one of them, and then you can follow those steps to install the rest of them, right? So double click on the first one which is in red. Once you double click it, you have this window which shows the missing aircraft and needs to be installed, or the repaint that needs to be installed. Now if you observe this livery here, it's in green, which means that I have already downloaded that livery from the website, or I have already downloaded this livery through AIFP. And as I told you that I am using 2016 version of this AI flight plan for Lufthansa, so I have this liveries already there. It's listed in green. In your case it will be listed in dark blue shade. I'll show you if I can find dark blue. Yeah, here it is, dark blue shade, which means that this livery will need to be downloaded. It needs to be downloaded and then it will turn green. Once it turns green, that means that you are ready to install that livery into your system, right? So in my case I have this livery downloaded, just need to install it. Select your FS version, select your flight simulator version. If it's FSX, FS9, P3D, V2, V3, V4, select it from the list, whichever version you have. Then you need to do is just click once on the respective livery. In our case it's Lufthansa Boeing 747-8I with web titles livery here, web titles. Cross check it once again if this and this matches. Once it matches, then you need to create, or you need to select is the texture folder. Now DDS and DDS mapped, there are different types of textures, high quality textures, 32-bit open, 32-bit textures, 64-bit textures, and all those stuff. I'm not going to cover all those technicalities of the textures. You will find tutorials on what's DDS mapped texture on Google. You can just Google it. Both of them work great. I'm using P3D V4, so I'll check DDS texture for this example. FSX, P3D, V2, V3, take DDS textures. DDS textures work just great. Select it. Once you select it, click on install. Once you click on install, you will be prompted with a message like this: Lufthansa Boeing 747-8I web titles will be saved as flightsim.6 in aircraft folder, and here is the path to the aircraft folder. Now as I mentioned in my previous tutorials that you need to allocate your base models into the airplane folder of your flight sim directory. In my case, I'm using FAIB's Boeing 747-800, so it took it. I'm using different kind of there are different flights apart from Lufthansa that I'm using for 747-800, so it takes the next number for your texture, right? So flightsim.6 is the next texture. It will take it automatically the next number. Don't have to worry about it. Just click yes. Once you say yes, it gives you another message which shows that texture folder Lufthansa web titles already exists. Now, as I told you that 2016 flight plan is what I'm following for Lufthansa, so it gives me this message. What I'll do is I'll just overwrite it. Once I overwrite it, this will turn dark gray. Now, in your case, you won't be getting that error because you will not be having any textures installed from the first ones. Alright, well, this is the installation of the texture that you need to follow to get into the AI traffic, or get into the assigning of the texture or assigning of the livery to a particular aircraft. Right, I'm going to show another example where you need to download a repaint or a texture. I'll see if we have a aircraft where the textures are missing. Even this has the texture. What I'll do is I'll see if I can find another texture. Maybe, yeah, yes, this is it. Lufthansa Boeing 747-400 unnamed 490 knots is the texture that I do not have installed on my FS or P3D V4. I need to download it first and then I can install it. So this is the process. Select it or get it selected by the flight planner from the list. Double clicking it here, it takes you directly to that particular aircraft. Shows you in a dark blue color. When it's in a dark blue color, it shows that this texture needs to be downloaded. Click on download. Once you click on download, the texture immediately starts downloading from the online website or online site where that texture is been uploaded. Now this is a huge texture. It is a 51 MB texture, and I'll tell you why it's 51 MB of texture, because it's going to cover 747-400 all the textures. You will have a single zip, you will have a single archive where you will find all the 747s textures, whether it's normal 747-400 490 knots, whether it's 747-400 web titles, whether it's a 747-400 unnamed web titles. All these four, 1, 2, 3, 4, all these four textures will be covered in a single zip archive, and that is why it's having 51 MB of file size, right? And get that texture to download. I just skip that because I do not want to install that texture here. I'll get it some other time. I'm already using a 2016 flight plan, so I'm not in that phase of upgrading it to 2017 right now. So this is the process, guys. This is the process of getting the repaints, getting the liveries, and installing it correctly to your may I say, not installing but assigning those liveries to your respective aircraft or company aircraft like Lufthansa. Get those liveries by that process and get it installed, get it assigned to the respective aircraft. Once you do that, you will have all these liveries turn dark gray in color, which means that your flight plan has all the required liveries for that respective company AI aircrafts. Right guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the next phase or the next chapter of the tutorial, where I'm going to show you the steps on where can you find, once you have taken these liveries, what needs to be done in the next step, where can you find that file of your traffic, and once you have that file in your respective or the correct folder, how does your Lufthansa flight or your Lufthansa air traffic look in a certain airport. Right? So till then guys, this is Sam. I'm signing off.